Hello everyone, thank you for joining me on today's webinar, which is improving your e-commerce transactions, improving the transaction process for clients who are visiting your Odoo e-commerce. Okay, my name is Baraka Waswa and I am going to be your host today. I will start with a brief introduction of myself. I'm a business analyst here at Odoo Kenya, and what I do is I talk to businesses, I analyze their operational flows to understand the pain points that they have while running their businesses. I configure Odoo based on their use cases, and then I walk the entire journey with the client to make sure that they are as comfortable as possible to use the tool. I'm going to start with a simple use case. Imagine a client comes to your e-commerce website. They would like to purchase a product, let's say a PBA chair. They go to the shop on your e-commerce page. They select the product that they want. They go to the checkout page, and they are redirected to the page where they're supposed to make payments. And they have multiple options. They can either use mobile money, maybe Airtel money, maybe Orange money, maybe M-Pesa, or they can also select bank card, for example, maybe Visa card or MasterCard. That would be a very efficient way to actually improve the customer experience of people visiting your e-commerce website, right? Well, I have exciting news today. DPO Pay by Network International in collaboration with Odoo has actually made this possible. And that is what we are going to be discussing today on what to do when you want to start using this integration. And we are also going to look at a simulation of 2 or 3 transactions on what it actually is going to be looking like from the perspective of the customer visiting your site. Okay, so my name is Baraka Waswa and I'm a business analyst. What we're going to start with is I'm going to give you an overview of the agenda of what the webinar is going to be about. One, I will do an introduction of Odoo just to give you an understanding of what Odoo is. We're also going to talk about what DPO Pay is so that you're also able to understand what we are talking about. And then we'll get into a demo where I will show you a client who is actually trying to check out from your website. After which I will have a conclusion, and then we shall take some of the questions that you are going to have put on the comment section. So as we proceed, please feel free to add as many questions as possible to the comment section. I have a team of colleagues who are also going to be answering throughout. So feel free to input any questions regarding Odoo, regarding e-commerce, regarding DPO Pay. We have a team that is actually working on that. Okay, so I'm going to start by explaining what Odoo actually is. And Odoo is it's actually an integrated suite of business management tools that allow you to centralize your operations and reduce the number of softwares that you need to run your business. Typically, a business would need, for example, an accounting software to do their accounting. They would need a HR software for HR operations, a CRM software to manage leads, payroll software, for example, for HR operations as well, document management software, and so many more. Okay, and that is a lot of softwares. In fact, in average, a business needs about 14 different softwares, and that's where Odoo comes in, to have one tool that actually has all these different applications. And what this allows you to do is to centralize all your data, digitize all your operations, and all of these applications are actually talking to each other. Internally, you also achieve a lot of collaboration. That is what Odoo is. I'm also going to take a moment to explain what DPO Pay is. And DPO Pay by Network is a leading payment service provider company in Africa that allows businesses to be able to receive payments via different options such as mobile money or card transactions or bank transfers, either online or in-store. And that is the collaboration that we're actually going to be talking about today. So this is a sample of some of the available payment methods that are supported by DPO Pay, because remember, it's a payment service provider. It's not just one payment method, but it's actually multiple. So once you have enabled DPO Pay, you can be able to use A number of them. An example is, of course, M-Pesa. You can use Airtel Money. You can use MTN Mobile. You can use Orange Money. Of course, different countries have different availabilities. And that is the beauty of DPO Pay. It is not just local for Kenya, but it's available in so many countries in all of the African continent. And in addition to mobile money, we also have card payments, so you can actually also receive card payments. Okay, so that was a brief overview of what Odoo is, what DPO Pay is, and what we're going to be talking about on this specific webinar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a demonstration on how this is supposed to work. But before we even get to that, I'm going to share a simple use case. This is a business that we are actually going to be considering today. The name of my business is Luxury Interiors. This is a Kenyan brand that sells high-end furnitures. And what they would like to do is they want to now push the limits of their business. They want to explore e-commerce. They would like to set up a website. They would like people to come and select the products that they want from their website. They can be able to make payments and check out entirely, so that we reduce the number of abandoned carts, maybe, for example, of people who visit our website. And they would like to be receiving payments via M-Pesa or a bank card. And those are the two main payment methods that we're going to be looking at today. So now that Luxury Interiors wants to do this, how would they get started at Odoo? How would they be able to actually make this dream of theirs of e-commerce possible for their team, for their business, and for their customers as well? That is where Odoo comes in collaboration with DPO Pay. So the very first thing that Luxury Interiors is actually supposed to do is they need to sign up with DPO Pay by Network International. What they're supposed to go do is they're supposed to visit the DPO website. They're going to register. There are some requirements that they're supposed to submit. After submitted, the approval process is typically going to take 1 day, maximum 72 hours. Once you have submitted your documentation, once it has been approved, then you're good to go. Then you can now begin using the payment method inside of your e-commerce website. So I'm going to go to Odoo and show you what it actually is practically when we're talking about enabling the payment method and inputting the details that you'll have received on DPO Pay. So I will navigate to my website, to my database right here. This is the backend of Odoo. So at this point, Luxury Interiors went to odoo.com. They selected the applications that they needed, among them including website, inventory, and invoicing. They went to DPO Pay, they made the registration, and they received the required information that they need to paste into Odoo. So once you have signed up, once DPO Pay has actually already approved your registration, you need to enable the payment method, okay? And I'm going to start by giving you an overview of what you're seeing on the dashboard. This is the Odoo database. This is once you signed up into Odoo and you selected the applications that you need, this is what you're going to actually see based on the applications that you need, of course, for your use case. So in my case, Luxury Interiors needed website and the number of applications that you are going to see. The first thing I need to do is I need to go to the website configuration and actually enable this payment method that is called DPO Pay. How would I do that? I will go to the application that is called website. It's my application on the bottom left. Okay. And what that does, it takes me to the back end of my website. This is the configuration side of my website where I can be able to set up my website to be how I want it to be, enable or disable a lot of things. So I will click on configuration because I'm on the back end. And then I'm going to click on the option that says payment providers because that is what we want to enable. I will click on that, and what you do notice that there is quite a number of different payment providers that are available. We have DPO Pay, we have so many other different providers, of course, based on different countries, different continents and everything. So For Africa, what we now have is DPO Pay. The very first thing that you will do is you're going to click on install, because it will not be installed. Once it gets installed, it is now going to appear like how it appears like for mine. So in my case, I have already enabled the DPO Pay option. I will click on it, and what you do notice is that once you've installed it, there are three modes that the DPO Pay method has. We can have it disabled. When it's disabled, that means that your clients visiting your e-commerce website won't see that option at all. Maybe you're trying to set up something, or there's something that you're still working on. Then I would simply just have it disabled. If I would like to do some test transactions to confirm that it actually works, I would enable test mode. And once I have everything up and running, once I have received all the credentials that I need from DPO themselves, I will then go ahead and change the state to enabled. Once it's enabled, I am ready to start receiving money from my customers through my Odoo e-commerce website via DPO Pay. And that is, of course, the interesting part. So what you need to do to get you going is there are two things that you will receive from DPO Pay, which you're going to paste into Odoo. The first thing is the service ID. In my case, I have some dummy details that I'm going to be using. Of course, I also have a sandbox account for testing the transactions. In my case, I have the service ID, which is 5525, and the company token. So these details will be provided for by DPO Pay. Once you've registered and you've been given, all you need to do is come and paste right here and click on enable. Once that is done, that's it. It's as simple as that to get you onboarded to begin using DPO Pay to receive money. And the beauty of it is that there is no additional cost of onboarding that you need to pay to Odoo or to DPO Pay. Signing up to use this functionality is completely free. Okay, that makes it affordable and convenient, of course, for small and medium-sized businesses. Well, that is on the configuration part. My payment provider is ready. It's DPO Pay. I have enabled it. I have a few products that are available on my e-commerce website, and I would like a client to now come and visit my website, my Odoo website, select the products that they would like to purchase and check out. That is the use case for today. So what does it actually look like from the client's perspective? How do they manage this entire flow from their end, register the payment, and complete the checkout? And once a client does that, what do we see internally? How do we take account for that? And that is the next part of my presentation, the client's perspective. Okay, so what I have done now is I have navigated to my website, which is very beautifully designed. That is my catchphrase: refining spaces and defining tests. Catchy. So I have a number of products that I have already set up on my website, and it's ready. My client is now visiting my website, and this is what he is seeing. So they come and have a look, and there is this specific product that they actually needed, the 2-seat sofa, which costs 5,000 Kenyan shillings, quite affordable. And we can also see that it has the tag new. So I have put it at the very top because I would like my clients to be able to see it. So my client comes and looks at this 2-seater sofa. They say, fine, it's fair deal, why not? So they will come and select it. And I have, of course, input a clear image of the picture. I have also included a detailed explanation of what this sofa is about so that they understand what they are actually trying to purchase, which is all of this information here. And what the client is going to do is they're convinced. The details are good, they're extensive, it's exactly what they wanted. Our terms and conditions are fair. Shipping is going to take 2 to 3 business days. For a chair, that is quite practical. So my client goes ahead and clicks on add to cart. Okay, once he has done that, he would like now to continue with the checkout process. So he will click on the cart icon at the very top, and it's going to give him an overview of everything that is actually purchased. In this case, my client is just buying one product, which is the 2-seat sofa. It could be a number of products. It could be even services. Actually, you can also sell services or tickets via the Odoo e-commerce website. So I have also broken down so that the client can see what is the subtotal, the taxes, and the final total. Okay, if discount codes are applicable, we can also allow the client to input a discount code if they have a unique promo code. The client is going to go ahead and click on checkout. And during checkout, the client has an option to select the address where he would like these products to actually be delivered to. So in my case, I had actually already created a delivery address for this client. But if that is not the case, you can the client can always click on add address and populate all the details, the name of the client, the mobile number, the email, and everything. Because typically, me ordering from Nairobi doesn't mean that I want it delivered here. I would maybe want it delivered to Uganda or Kampala somewhere, or any different location. So that is why a delivery address exists, so that you can define where you would like those products to go to. So in my case, I am going to go with the delivery address that I had already set up. Then the delivery method, I will simply select standard delivery because I don't charge my client to do delivery, so he can always select the free delivery method, but you have an option to customize that if you charge for delivery, or based on criteria, maybe if it's above this amount, if it's free. Below that, the client has to pay for delivery, and so on. Once the client is okay with the delivery address and the method of delivery, I'm going to go ahead and click on confirm. In my case, the billing address is just the same as the delivery address, no different. So the client goes ahead and clicks on confirm. And there we go. The client now has the option to select the payment method, which is either card or mobile, and it is the one that we've actually enabled. This is the DPO Pay payment method that we have. And let's see how the client finally manages to make payment. So I will select that. Then I'm going to click on Pay Now. What that does, it's now going to redirect us to the payment page. This is where the client actually goes to now register the payment. I would like us to do two transactions. The first transaction, for this one specifically, the client would like to pay by card. So I'm going to select debit card or a credit card. Then I can be able to go ahead and populate all the card details, like the name of the card holder, the card number, of course, the expiry date, and the unique code, that the security code for that card. So in this case, I have a card that I had already pre-configured with my name, Baraka Waswa, and the card number, the expiry date, and the unique code. Once I select that, this is now the client, of course, checking out. They will select that I agree to DPO terms and conditions, and click on continue to pay. Once the client clicks on continues to pay, we leave it right there, and DPO Pay does the magic for us. It processes the whole transaction, and the client gets charged for the product or service that they have paid for, and that is what it would look like. The client can also go ahead and download the order, the sale order of what they had ordered. And it's quite extensive. It, of course, contains our address, the order number. This is our logo, and this is the document layout. Of course, the client's delivery address, the order date, the salesperson in charge of this, and a description of everything that the client selected, as well as the total. Seamless. All this, the client has been able to do from their end without any interaction with somebody internally. So we would like to take a moment to go back internally and see what has happened now that the client has been able to complete the checkout process entirely from their end. What about us internally as the business? What do we get to see? So I navigate back to my Odoo database, and every transaction is actually a sale order. So I'm going to go to the sales application, and I'm going to select the latest sale order, which is sale order number 56, because that is exactly the one that we have just finished checking out right now, the sale order number 56. So back to my Odoo database. Now this is from the business people perspective. This is the owner of Luxury Interiors or the salesperson at Luxury Interiors. They click on the sales application. We shall see the sale order number 56, which is a confirmed sale order. It's not a quotation because the checkout process went to the very end. When I click on it, I can be able to see a number of things. One is the quantity that the client has ordered of the product. Of course, it's the 2-seat sofa. The quantity is 1, and we are yet to deliver because remember the client has just made an order. We have not fulfilled our part, which we are supposed to. When I check to the top of this sales order, I actually see a delivery smart button. And what Odoo is telling us is that we need to now fulfill our part. We need to actually do a delivery of this item to our client. And I can click on the delivery order right there, and I will be able to see that we're actually supposed to deliver 1 2-seat sofa to our client, Michael Admin, of course, to this delivery address. Currently, I don't even have the sofa. So I can fabricate it, I can make it, and then once it's ready, I shall deliver it to my client, and I will validate this delivery order at that point and give it as an accompanying document, a full flow from start to stop. Apart from that, when I come back to my sale order, there's also something very interesting at the very top. There is an invoice because the client has actually already paid. So when I click on it, something very interesting also shows up because the invoice is actually already marked as paid. Of course, because the client has actually already paid. And not only that, there is something else. When I scroll down to the charter, Odoo shows me that the invoice was automatically sent to the client. So in addition to the sale order that the client downloaded when completing the checkout, as soon as the client registered payment, Odoo automatically sent this invoice to the client, and it also tells the client that this invoice is already paid. Of course, this is a template which you can always edit, and I can open the invoice that was sent to the client. Let's take a moment to analyze it. It shows me it's Luxury Interiors. Of course, that's our address. This is the invoice number. No, it's no longer a quotation or a sale order, but this is an actual invoice. It contains the invoice date. The due date is going to be the same as the invoice date because it was like paid even before the invoice was generated, and the source. So what we see is that this invoice came from this sale order number 56, and it contains everything that was purchased. It contains the total, which was 5,000, and it also shows the date when this invoice was paid, which was on today, and the amount due is 0. So the whole process is seamless. As soon as the client completed the transaction and it was successfully captured, the client automatically got an invoice on their email. Okay, if you want, you can even configure so that this document maybe could be sent by SMS or WhatsApp. But that is a whole flow of what the transaction process could look like, and all that can be automated. Just a point to note is that the invoice was automatically sent because I enabled that configuration. I told Odoo that I would like the invoicing policy to be on ordered quantity. So that means that once a client orders a product, even before we deliver, we can always invoice them. Of course, it's now flexible. It's up to you. If your working procedure is you only invoice after you have delivered, then you can also disable that. Or if you don't want the automatic invoice sending, you can also disable that. All in all, you have the full control. You can always configure it to be the specific use case that you would like it to be. That is a complete flow from setting up Odoo to the time a transaction happens. That is the first use case. I would like us to do a second transaction. Our client is now happy because we did everything on time. They were able to get their invoice in real time without any time wasting or without any delays. So our client is happy and he would now like to purchase another product, maybe some spare parts of their furniture office, maybe some office wheels. And this time we want to do this transaction using M-Pesa. How does M-Pesa look like when a client is trying to transact from our website? We shall navigate back to our website. this is back to the client. This is back to the website. This is what the client sees. Of course, he can always go back home. My homepage is also my shop. That is where the products are. And it's simple, it's elegant, it's catchy. So my client would now like to purchase some office wheels, the ones that you can use to, for example, repair your office chair once it's broken down. It's just a tiny purchase. And he would like to simply use M-Pesa because he has money on his mobile phone. So what does it look like? How does the transaction get managed? I have categorized my products, of course, based on different categories, and one of the categories is accessories. So I'm going to select accessories, and one of the accessories is the office wheelchair, which is on sale, as we can see, and we have a good deal of only 5 shillings. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. And like the other product, it also has quite an extensive description of what it actually is, including the size, the wheel diameter, the material, and the weight. So the client is quite convinced that this is indeed the very exact size of the office chair wheel that he needs to repair his chair. So the client can always, of course, go ahead and select as many wheels as he needs. In this case, let's go with just 2. So I'm going to add to cart once more. Then I'm going to view the cart. Okay. Again, I just have one product with no discount code. So I'm going to go ahead and check out. Now I'm the client. So I will go to checkout. And as usual, you can always select the delivery address. If your customer is a return customer, the address can always be saved so that they don't have to be keying everything. But typically, if I click on edit, as you can see, there is a lot of information right here. The client can really customize to say, this is the name, this is the email, this is the phone number, the company name, the VAT, if applicable, if it's a business transacting, the street and number of where the client would like this to be delivered to. The apartment could be house number 10, floor 25, the city, the zip code, the country, and the province. So this is quite detailed so that the person actually doing the delivery from our business doesn't make the mistake of making the wrong delivery, because that would be quite frustrating for sure. So this is how the client would be able to set up that. Once it's all good, he can go ahead and confirm. The delivery method is also standard delivery because we don't charge our clients for delivery for now. Then the client can go ahead and confirm the order. Okay. Again, the payment method that we're using is the one that is a card on mobile, and it's secured by DPO Pay. I will select that payment option. I will click on Pay Now. And this time we don't want to use our debit card. What we in fact want to use is mobile money. And just a minute, we can of course take time to analyze this page, because this is, the client will always be redirected to this page. So if the client is paying by credit card or debit card, he can always select this. If your client would like to pay using mobile money, they can always come to mobile money, select the country. As you can see, it is not just Kenya, but it's quite actually a number of countries that have mobile money. Could be Ghana, which has MTN, Momo, and this option. Okay, could be Ivory Coast. We have Orange Money. I will also have MTN, or Uganda, and so many others. For more information on what mobile money options are available, feel free to always contact DPO. They will always provide a lot more details regarding the same. Could be bank transfer actually, could be XPay or PayPal, and so many options. So we're giving our client the variety. They can choose what is the most convenient for them. We're not limiting them to just one option, but it's quite a number. An advantage of this is that means that you can actually sell internationally. As a client, as a business that is located here in Kenya, it's possible for me to sell my services across the border to Rwanda. They will always pay with the payment options that it works for them, or to South Africa, or to Uganda, or wherever. And that is the advantage of using the DPO payment provider option. You get a lot of options. You can always select what works best for you. So in my case, my client is in Kenya. So he's going to select Kenya, and he's going to select M-Pesa because he would like to use M-Pesa. So there we go. Then I'm going to type in my phone number. Right there. And then I'm going to click on I agree to DPO terms and conditions, and then I'm going to click on continue to pay. Okay, and something very interesting happens. As soon as I click on pay, I get a prompt on my mobile phone because I input my phone number, and I can be able to input my M-Pesa PIN and actually complete the transaction directly from my phone. So I will click on send. I will complete the transaction to the very end, and as a customer, what's remaining is to simply sit and wait for DPO Pay to do the rest. And that is exactly what has happened. So the order has been processed and it's been completed. As soon as the payment gets registered, by the way, DPO Pay is also going to send an email to your client telling them that they have completed. They're going to get a payment email confirmation directly from DPO Pay. On your side, if as a business, if you log into the DPO Pay portal, you will be able to see all the transactions that happened as well. That is a complete transaction. So let's go back internally to see what happened to this order as well, which is the order number 0057. So I'm going to navigate again once more back to my Odoo database. I would like to go to the sales application, which all the sale orders get managed from. And there we go. My sale order number 57 has automatically been generated. And likewise, a delivery order is pending. So what I simply need to do is deliver the products and confirm. Okay, and you will also notice that from this sale order, I can actually see that these are the quantities that the client ordered. So the client ordered 2 office wheels and we have actually delivered 0. So once I have them available on hand, I will go to this delivery button, and I don't have it on hand. So once I have purchased these items, because I don't really make the wheels, I actually purchase them. So once I have purchased them, I will go ahead and validate this delivery. Of course, Odoo also has the purchase application, which you can use to manage purchases. And with collaboration with the inventory application, you can always see what is available on hand, what has been delivered, and what is left, because Odoo is also an inventory management software. And because our e-commerce is linked to the sales application, which is also linked to the accounting application, my invoice has already been generated. And the invoice has also been marked as paid. That is a complete flow from start to stop on how to set up DPO Pay, how your client will be able to do transactions from your e-commerce website, and how we can have the automation to see what has been delivered and what has not been delivered. So I'm going to navigate back to my we're going to go next to the Q&A sessions, where I will look at the questions on the comment section, which I believe my team is already answering. I will sample out a few so that we can also look at them. So let me just open that. Yeah, feel free to, of course, continue asking as many questions as we keep on going. Okay, a number of interesting questions we have right here. Let me scroll through a few. Oh yes, on DPO Pay availability, DPO Pay is currently available from Odoo version 18.3. So if you would like to use it right away, please feel free to upgrade your database to 18.3 and it's going to be available. Of course, for new clients, that means new databases that are being created, they'll automatically be in the latest version of Odoo, which is 18.4 currently. But yeah, so if you're not seeing it, please just check the database version of what you're in. Currently, the database version that I'm using is 18.3. The specific one that I have used to give you the demo on, it's actually in 18.3.